Dia Quid, everyone, Kajima Toss Sheev, and welcome back to episode number 59 of the Inline G Flute podcast with me, your host, motherfucking Inline G. Boys and girls and all in between, I am back in the developed world. Now, before we go on, I know there are going to be a lot of first-time listeners to this podcast today, so it is lovely to have you. Leave any expectations you might have about flute podcasts at the door. Wipe your feet and come on in to the party. Now, why would there be first-time listeners specifically for today's episode? Well, because, ladies and gentlemen, I have picked a very clickbaity title. So I've probably got a few of you out there worried sick that I'm going to spill the beans on something dodgy that happened at the NFA convention. But listen, I won't be doing that. There's no dirty laundry to be aired here, except my own, which I love to do publicly for your entertainment. But to be honest, the title of the episode was designed mainly to hook you in. So it was clickbait. I'm sorry, I might have duped you. And if you're out there right now sighing a sigh of relief, I am really sorry. I didn't mean to put the willies in you. But listen, while you're here, maybe consider staying around. It's a lovely day. Go pour yourself a little gin and tonic, maybe a glass of something tropical, stick a straw in it, and tune in, because I am going to be doing a lovely reflective episode on NFA, including my own experiences. And if you want a bit of scandal, I'll throw in some of my own scandal, because I've got enough for all of us. Now, today's episode is going to be a reflection on the NFA 2024 convention in San Antonio. I'll be telling you about how I found it personally, my opinions of the US flute world, a couple of secret goings-on at the NFA that you might not know about, and why I think you should join me next year. Now, that is a shock to a lot of regular listeners because I'm bigging up America, something I don't often do in this podcast. I slag off America on the weekly on this podcast. I think it's a shithole. But after spending 3 weeks there, I've actually changed my mind quite a bit. So I'm going to be eating a nice big slice of humble pie today, along with all the Denny's pies I had. Now, before we go on, because I'm going to be bigging up like companies and brands and other flute adjacent things, I know what people are going to say. Because I heard them say it at NFA, and they've said it to me. You're going to assume if I say something's good, I'm being sponsored to say that. Not true. Let me make this very, very clear. Up until right now, this podcast has received 0 sponsors and not a single fucking penny in advertising up until this point. Although I could use with some. Now, I've been offered sponsorship, don't get me wrong, but I'm only going to take something that I think that I would use myself, that I would feel comfortable trying to advertise to you guys or to bring it out to you guys. I'm not a fucking sellout. Alright, so for that reason, you will not be seeing fucking Lefrec on this podcast, and God forbid you will not be seeing that Woodify shite. None of that bollocks is coming near the Inline G podcast. Now, I know there's people out there that do sell their products and do influence for them and they're getting paid. I don't hate the player, hate the game. They're out there making a couple of quid, trying to save up money for a holiday, maybe, or to buy a couple of frozen margaritas. So I don't blame the player. If you're selling that shit, get your money and run, lads. No problems. But Woodify's a load of bollocks. I'll not be selling this podcast. My opinion on this, I'm going to do an episode on these things at some point, but okay, I've never actually tried Woodify, but I know it's a load of shit, okay? If putting a little bit of wood around the top of your flute made the sound better, do you not think one of the major flute companies who have been perfecting instrument development for over 100 years would have done it by now? Like Muramatsu are 101, Sankyo had their 75th birthday recently, Miyazawa are a long time ago, and Haynes have been about for fucking donkeys. They're all competing with each other to get the best instruments they can. Not one of these people thought of sticking a bit of fucking wood around the top of their flute. Do me a fucking flavour, alright? So, no, it's a load of shit, I'm sorry. And proof's in the pudding, lads. If the top players aren't playing them, they're not to be used. Top players will do anything to get an advantage or to make their sound better. William Bennett used to get all his students flutes and drill fucking holes in them and put rubber bands around them. I had a teacher who put, the marks are still on it, put fucking nail polish or nail varnish around my flute to seal it better. You know, they do all kinds of weird shit. They would not be averse to sticking on a bit of wood around the top. So if they haven't done it, there's a reason. And the reason is, it's a load of dog shit. And they've all tried it. I'm sure they post these out to people. So it's a load of shit. So I won't be selling out anyway. Nothing on this podcast is sponsored. I promise. Because I don't want anything to affect the script of this podcast. Sponsors are welcome, but they have to be free to let me do my shit. Total freedom to criticize, to be political, to swear. This podcast is a dictatorship, not a democracy. All right, I'm the captain of the ship and I'm going down with it. So you can all rest assured that today's opinions are 100% my own. And if you want any more proof of that, wait until the small section where I say things that I didn't enjoy about NFA, and you'll realize why no US sponsor would ever dream of putting any fucking money in this podcast after what I will say today. So without further ado, let's get stuck in. So NFA convention, last week, San Antonio. As many of you know, this convention changes cities every year. A lot of you didn't come to San Antonio because it was too hot. You're fucking pathetic. All right, wise up for next year. You're in the air conditioning the whole time in America. Nobody gives a fuck. I'm sweating my balls off here in Germany, and it's like 30 degrees because we don't have AC. In America, I was freezing for most of the time. I didn't actually get to many concerts in the end. There was so many good concerts, so many good panels. I made a list because it's 9 to 6 every day for the concerts and panels, plus the gala concert. But during the day, you have to choose what you want to go to. I made a list of my preferred things, barely got to any of them. So much stuff to do at this convention. You're spoiled for choice. It's wonderful. I only went to 2 things, actually performance-wise 3. I went to Brienne's concert. Dr. Brienne Little played Ballymood. Shout out to her, friend of the podcast, and a friend in real life. Gareth McLaren's new composition. I went and checked it out because he's a mate. And I went to one of the evening concerts, the first one, which I left early, and we'll get to that later. Most of my time I was podcasting. We're trying to podcast. If not, I was being stopped for selfies throughout the convention center. Honestly, the size of my fucking ego after the first few days of the NFA, man, you couldn't have fitted through the fucking door. I was bouncing off things of the size of my head after the first few days because even before the first day, I was recording an episode, actually the Stephen Clark episode, and when I was finished, the first person came up to me and said, "Oh my God, I love your podcast. Can I get a photo?" And I was like, "You love my podcast?" I was all coquettish. I was like, "Oh my God." Man, this never happens to me. It happened once with the football podcast, but that was in the street. But I'd say about 25 times over the weekend, someone stopped me for a photograph and said they love my podcast. I was like fucking Elton John running around that place. It was amazing. I'm at that level of fame where I know my fans first before they know me. I'm like, oh, that's a fan. Maybe they're going to speak to me. It's fucking pathetic. But yeah, that's what I was doing for most of my time, or most of it I was in the Exhibitor Hall. So you all know what the Exhibitor Hall is. It's like a big room where they have all the flute brands and the flute shops and flute adjacent products, and they have stalls, and you go around. Now the Exhibitor Hall's open all day, and I spend most of my time just floating around there, talking to people, bumping into people, having conversations. Didn't actually try many flutes. Funny enough, I'll get to that in a minute, but I didn't try many. But I walked in on the first day, very first day, walk in, 10 o'clock, opens up, and within 30 seconds, I hear about 4 people playing the Daphnis and Chloe solo on new flutes. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to throw myself in that river walk. This is a fucking disaster. But I cannot believe how hard it is to probably work there and hear that all day. Either Daphnis and Chloe, the first few bars of the Mozart Concerto, or no Mendelssohn Scherzos, not many of them. Proofs in the pudding there, lads. Can't play that one. Learn the double tongue, maybe. I'm only winding these up. Now, they're all there. They've all got their own shops. The brands are there. The flute shops are there. The American flute shops. There's a bit of rivalry there as well. I'll get to that too. But it is a gem of a place to go to because all these amazing flutes are just sitting out, and you just go pick them up, give them a wee blow. Also, if you're going to do that, they put like little alcohol cloths and stuff beside it so you can clean it after. Do it. The amount of dirty fuckers I saw just play the flute and stick it back. I'm like, mate, were you born in a field? Who reared you? Just putting it back, blowing down it with God only knows what, and then coming back to it. The reason I didn't try flutes for 3 days, okay, true story. The reason I didn't try flutes is because I bought one of these Stanley cups. Well, it's not Stanley. Sorry, by the way, you're going to get background noise today. I have to open the window. It's too hot here. It's not really Stanley. It's Walmart brand Stanley cup, and I thought, great, Americans love ice. You guys are mad for ice over there. So I can fill this up with ice every day, stick a bit of water on top, hydrated boy. And I was going to do that, but then one day I was in Walmart and I saw the amount of Dr. Pepper you guys have over there. Holy fuck. Because we have Dr. Pepper and sometimes Dr. Diet Pepper. Diet Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper Diet. That's the only 2 we get. But in America you have vanilla Dr. Pepper, cherry Dr. Pepper, creamy coconut Dr. Pepper, root beer Dr. Pepper, strawberries and cream Dr. Pepper, and they're all available as 0 sugar versions. I bought like a 15 or 20 pack of cans of strawberries and cream 0 sugar Dr. Pepper like a week before I came to San Antonio. That thing went with me through New Mexico, Arizona, it went like Tucson, El Paso, Del Rio, before finally coming into San Antonio, and I held it the whole way through like a newborn baby. So every day I woke up and I was like, right, I'll get my water, head off to the convention, and then I was like, but look who's winking at me from the fridge. It's Dr. Pepper. It's the doctor. And that man earned his PhD. So I filled it up and I thought, I can't go trying flutes when I'm sucking on Dr. Pepper all day. That's why I'm buzzing throughout every single podcast, and also my skin looks like it's about to fall off in most of those episodes. Made of fucking paper now. So that's why I didn't try the instruments out. But you should try the instruments out. But when you try them out, it's very funny. So the exhibitors are all there. They're selling the instruments. And they have, from what I gather, 3 reactions to people trying their instruments. I've observed this. The first reaction is the soft smile. So they'll look at the person who's trying their instrument and they'll gently smile and look at them and maybe nod their head very slowly. They sort of agree with what they're doing. But that gets very funny when the person playing also looks back at them and they make eye contact and they're playing the flute and this person is looking at them smiling and they look like they're about to fucking make out. It is so funny. It's ridiculous because you know how uncomfortable everyone is. When you do that like 25 times a day, I'm sure it starts to grate on you a bit. Number 2 is the head down. So the head down, close the eyes, feel the moment. Almost like it reminded me of being like at an after party at like 4 o'clock in the morning and someone's decided to sing or like share some poetry after they've took too many uppers and now they have to take a couple of downers and they're like sorry, excuse me. They're doing some poetry and everyone's like way too wiped out to know better, so they just close their eyes and go, yeah, man. And you close your eyes to, I suppose the thought process is to deprive yourself of vision so your other senses are heightened. But people do this while they're trying out flutes, and although they're doing that to look like they're paying more attention, I know what they're really doing is going to their happy place mentally, going to a beach in Malibu and thinking, please get me the fuck out of this place ASAP. And the last thing they do is to fuck off. Just leave them to it, which I actually prefer. I understand. The people who fuck off and leave me standing there, a man from Belfast with a gold flute, you are brave boys and girls. But anyway, they fucked off. I only tested flutes on the last day. So I went in on Sunday and I thought, I'll go to Snakey Oil, try out a few of their flutes. And then I made my way around. I thought I'll just pick up the interest in flutes. I spent 4.5 hours playing flutes. Didn't even realise. I actually went to test a 14-carat Burkhardt at Flute Center. Picked it up. And I normally just play some scales, some intervals, stuff like that, just to get a feel for the intonation of the instrument and the subtle things. I don't need to play a tune on the instrument. I can play a tune on any instrument. I need to get to know what's going on with it and where its little inconsistencies are, or where it's got different colours. That's what you're testing, really. Otherwise, you're just showing off. But anyway, some guy came up beside me and he was obviously like testing this head joint for a couple of days. And I got to day 4 and it's time to shit or get off the pot. He was like, I have to buy this. So he asked for the head joint, puts it in his flute, and without even thinking, instantly just blows out top D after top D after top D after top D. And I'm looking at him, mate, going, can you fucking not? Can you not do that? Have you lost your fucking mind? What do you think the head joint is going to do for you on a top D? Why are you testing a top D? You play about 3 of them in your life and you sound like a dick. And he was doing it for 5 minutes. Just top Ds. Top Ds the whole time. Like mega top Ds. I mean, what the fuck are you trying to get in this head joint? You can just shut up. No shame whatsoever about doing it. American. It was, and here's me sitting here trying to fucking tune my minor thirds. And this prick's over here. Top D. Blasting it out like his life depends on it. It's a lawless place, but I have to say it was excellent. The quality of the stuff there was amazing. I was honestly blown away. It's my first time at NFA, blown away. A couple of good finds, my top finds. The best flute for me personally was, grace be to God for this, was at Flute Center, and it was a 14-karat gold Sankyo. Now it is a monster. Why grace be to God? Because as you guys know, I'm an affiliate with Flute Center now. So thank fuck my favourite flute was there, because if it wasn't, that would be a problem. And number 2, I'm hoping to do some stuff with Sankyo. I got a lot of Sankyo artists interviewed during it, and I'm hoping we can get some kind of relationship going, because as you guys know, I play a Sankyo. And I was very relieved to find out the 14-karat gold Sankyo was my favourite flute, because if it wasn't, I'd be in a bit of trouble. Brannon had some great flutes as well. I always wanted to try the 14-karat gold orchestral model, because that's what Maggie Lee, best flute player in the world, Maggie Lee Mosnier, check out episode 25, Green Tea and Debussy, to hear her. My old teacher, she plays one, and it just has that sound, so I got to play one of them as well. Oh my god, mate. And swag, you get like merchandise, man. People have like stickers and stuff like that. Shout out to Sankyo first of all, because they give you pencils. Now everyone gives you pencils, but Sankyo sharpen their pencils. No one else sharpened their pencils. The Sankyo staff are up there every morning, 5 o'clock, just sitting there with coffee, sharpening pencils for your pleasure. Ribbed for your pleasure. No, they weren't. I think they came pre-sharpened, but everyone else didn't have them sharpened. I'm like, man, thank you for the pencil, but I need a fucking sharpener now. I don't carry a sharpener on me. I haven't owned a pencil sharpener in years. Who owns a pencil sharpener? I'm not 10. So, shout out to Sankyo for that, and shout out to Brannon for the best stickers, because they had this sticker of a cat that was with sunglasses on and holding a flute and dabbing on top of a rocket. I can't remember what it said. Fucking great. Also, my own favourite bit of merch, I'm not going to say where this came from because it's not the official flute thing. My own favourite bit of merch is someone who worked at one of the stalls got chatting to me, and they were telling me that they bought like these little plastic babies, and they were taking photos of them on social media around the place, like putting them in different places, like beside their drink or beside their dinner. When I say plastic baby, I know you're thinking, what the fuck is he on about? And I know. I have the same reaction, lads. It's like a centimetre big, which is like half an inch in American gobbledygook numbers, but a centimetre big, and it's a wee naked plastic baby, like hard plastic. And that's it. And this person was like, would you like one? And I was like, you're fucking right, I would. And I put it in my wallet and I forgot about it. And then on the flight home, when I was so drunk and we flew over Ireland, I was like, oh my God. And I went to get something out of my wallet and I found the wee baby. And now I've took pictures of it everywhere. And keep your eyes out. It's in this podcast somewhere. If you haven't spotted it by now, you're a disgrace, but it is here somewhere. But yeah, the thing, it was great, lads. The Exhibitor Hall was great. 10 out of 10 flat. Flute Center, my personal favourite. Now, again, you're going to think, oh, he's saying that Flute Center because he's an affiliate. I'm an affiliate after. I was a fan first, then became an affiliate. That's very important to say. I don't live in America, so I don't use American flute shops very often. But Flute Center have convinced me that they are my flute shop. You know the way you have like a bar? You have your pub. Well, maybe you guys don't, but I have my pub. You have a pub and you go in, you get the usual. They know what you want before you go in, and they know your name. And it's not like I'm singing the intro to Cheers there. Everybody knows your name. But you know what I mean. That's what I want from a flute shop. And I never had that with one of the British or French ones. And now suddenly with Flute Center, I feel like I've got that. I've got like a little bit of rapport with them, and that's my shop. So I will be making the pilgrimage over. I will say, for full clarity, all those shops, Flute Center, Flutistry, Caroline Nussbaum, the other one, Flute World, all those, they are much of a muchness. So they sell similar products, similar flutes, similar prices, to be totally honest. There's not much of a difference. So what are you choosing? I like Flute Center because of their staff, because they're super knowledgeable, super lovely. Now, to be fair, every other flute place had that as well. They had at least one member of staff who I really got on with. But the general thing was Flute Center just felt like pros. They just felt seasoned. I interviewed Julian, the CEO. That episode will come out soon. And he told me how important it is that the staff are well paid, well looked after. He said it in a way that was almost quite radical, while for me, that's just general European employment. But it filled me with confidence because I know everyone there wants to be there. I also asked him, this is the main reason I like them now. I said to him, if I came to New York and just said, I want to try all the gold flutes, I have no intention of buying one, can I do that anyway? He said, yeah, of course. I was like, right, now you're my man. Because I just want to play on the toys, man. I can't afford a fucking 80 grand flute. Like, who do you think? I'm not Elton John yet. Elton John's been mentioned twice in this podcast. But yeah, so I can't afford that. But if I ever can afford it, if I ever get a spare 80 grand, if I win the lottery, I'm going to spend 600 quid and fly to New York and buy it there. Because they're my shop. So, Flute Center, Inline G certified. Now, the Exhibitor Hall is not the only thing NFA does well. So let's do a quick rundown just for NFA to know. Because I'm sure someone's listening to this podcast who will tell them. I cannot tell you how great I think that festival was. The convention, I think it was fucking amazing. Here's what they did well. Exhibitor Hall, obviously, 10 out of 10. Amazing. Cannot fault it in the slightest. They had safe spaces for people from the LGBTQ plus community and ethnic minorities. And they had like meetups and stuff for them as well, where they could talk and bond over, their shared experiences, which I thought was great. And to put that in the program was, really rock and roll of them. You could put your pronouns on your name badge. You could, okay? Before someone starts shitting the bed about this, you could. They weren't making you put your pronouns on before you give me the whole Jordan Peterson thing. You could, which I think is fine. If you want to put your pronouns on, fill your boots. Do it. You're not hurting anybody. You can do what you want. So, and it was, again, quite brave of them. You wouldn't see that in Europe. So fair play to them. I was really pleasantly surprised by that. Although I registered early and I didn't get asked if I wanted to put them on. And I didn't get any of the wee fucking ribbons either, because I fucked up my registration. That's 100% my fault. That is not the NFA's fault. That is 100% my fault. The staff are amazing. They're super friendly. Like, way too friendly. I don't know if that's an American thing in general. We'll get to that. But the staff at NFA are very, very friendly. The first time when I went to register, I was actually quite nervous. Weirdly, and after talking to them for like 10 seconds, I was like, okay, no need to be nervous. These people are great. Organization, lads, I live in Germany, right? I know organization. These lads know how to organize a thing or two, right? NFA, perfectly organized. Like the timings, down to the fucking T. You could not fault it. They even had an app So you get your program in a little book, or you can get it in the app. And if you say in the app, oh, I'm interested in going to this one, I'll favorite that one, and the time changes, or the performer changes, or the rep changes, you get notified about it. Amazing. Like, lads, seamless. Fucking great. And the quality of artists. They had some great players there this year. Ian Clark there was there. Greg Patil was there. Gergie Itzles was there. Ransom Wilson played. I was quite surprised that didn't Ransom still play the flute. Actually played Dreamtime by Philippe Basson, which I missed because I was drunk. But I wish I did see it because I love that piece and Ransom's amazing. Who else was there? Judy Bianco played a concerto as well. And Lorna McGee. Man, Lorna McGee is one of the best flute players in the world. Definitely the best flute player the other side of the pond, who's based there. She's incredible. And you get that quality. Like, so fair play to the NFA. Now, we were talking about cultural differences. Let's touch on this quickly. This is where we start to get juicy here. This is what you came for, okay? This is where we're going to start getting a bit catty. Because I'm waxing lyrical about how nice everyone is at NFA. And that's true. But it might just be a cultural American thing that people are overly nice. Because there's a lot of American cultural quirks that take a bit of getting used to as a European person, especially someone who doesn't travel there very often. So they can be overly nice, but they can be fucking bitches too. I tell you that, boy. There's a stereotype on TikTok called the mean gay. Has anyone seen this? And obviously we have gay people in Europe. We invented gay people in Europe, right? But I've never seen the mean gay before. Because I don't know, American culture's different. I had my first encounter with a mean gay. I was at a party one night. I was talking to someone about Miller High Life. Champagne of beers. Best beer in the world, lads. I'll be doing an episode on that maybe. Chatting away. And this third person came in to sort of join in the conversation. So I opened the conversation up to the two of them. I was telling a story about Miller High Life. It had a punchline because I'm a funny bastard. And as I hit the punchline, the person I was originally talking to laughed a lot. The mean gay who joined in looked at me, looked through me, looked directly at my eyes, but he looked at me as if I'd walked into his house on Christmas Day and pissed on his kids. Looked right through me, waited a few seconds, didn't even give me a courtesy chuckle or a wee smile, turned to the other person and went, so tell me about you. And I was like, you fucking bitch. Who do you think you are? I was so shocked, man. And like the energy of Americans is different gravy, what we have. And lads, I pride myself on being able to talk to anybody. Okay? I feel like I can talk to paupers and kings and feel at ease with both of them. I can go to a dodgy, shitty soccer club. I say soccer for you guys. Football pub. Or I can go to a Royal Concert Hall and feel equally at ease in both. I can talk to anyone, but apparently not. There's one group of people that make me, I just don't know how to react, man. I don't know how to interact with these people. And that is the very high energy American gays. Because I'll paint the picture. First day, I was chatting with a few people. And they're very gay, very flamboyant. Love it. Love the energy. Love the support. Love the fucking finger snapping and all that. They actually do that. Like you see on TikTok. They actually do that shit. Chatting away. And then someone else walks in behind. The person I'm chatting to sees this person and goes, sorry, excuse me 1 second. Who's this fucking bitch? Bitch? Who is this fucking bitch? I'm like, man, if you'd said that to me, I'd be like, all right, man, it's me. How's it going? I don't know how to talk to that. And what's more, I can't do that. I can't like jump in and like match the energy in this, because if he goes, who's this fucking bitch? Come here. And they give each other a big hug. I can't be in a conversation with someone and they go, sorry, mate, excuse me 1 second. Who's this fucking bitch? Huh? Who's this fucking bitch? Come here. I can't do that. It doesn't work when you're not gay and you have an Irish accent. Like, they're all like, bitch, what are you doing here? What the fuck are you doing here, bitch? I'm like, I can't go, what are you doing here? Huh? Bitch, what are you doing here? It doesn't work. The worst one, oh my god, they say the word slut a lot in America, which I find incredibly uncomfortable. It's probably my most hated word. But they'll say like, who let this fucking slut into the party? Who let this slut in? Come here. I can't go, who let this slut in the party? Who let this fucking... I can't... That's a hate crime. I can't do that. I don't know how to interact with these people. If anyone wants to give me a lesson, please do. I was out of my depth, lads. And that doesn't happen very often. And you do realise in America, when you're talking to people, there's two topics that are just like off the table. Unless you're like intimate with them, unless you know them, and you wouldn't talk about it in public. And that is religion and politics. My two favourite topics to talk about. Like on the last day, I got an Uber back to the airport, and the taxi driver was like, "What do you guys think over there in Europe about US politics?" I was like, "Mate, you don't want to fucking know what we think about US politics. What we think about US politics would break your fucking heart, man." And he's like, "If you were American, who would you vote for?" And I was like, "Mate, I'm not going to tell you, because I don't know if the answer I give you, you're going to shoot me or not, because we're in Texas. I don't have a fucking clue." Also, while I'm on it, right, see, criticizing Donald Trump, that's not political, right? That's not politics. You guys have to fucking wake up about this. It is absurd, and I refuse to take it seriously. Donald Trump was a fucking reality TV star, and he told people to inject bleach when he was president, okay? This is not politics to criticize Donald Trump. In Europe, we have actual politics. We have politicians who actually study and do things. You have fucking Donald Trump. It is not political to say Donald Trump's a fucking idiot. That is not political. Wise up. Now, anyway, before I get to the things I wasn't happy with at NFA, I have a big secret for you. All right, I'm through the curtain. We're through the peeping glass. The peeping glass? The looking glass. I don't know. At NFA, guys, there are secret parties. You heard me right. Secret parties. You don't know where they are. You don't know when they are. I can't tell you too much because I want to get invited again next year. But what happens is the different brands, flute makers, have parties on certain nights. They'll do it in a really fancy suite in one of the hotels. You get an invite-only thing. I actually got like literally a paper invite with the time and place on it. You show that at the door and you go in. Very exclusive. And you go up and they have all the booze made. They have all the fancy whiskey. They have all the nice snacks. Even one of them had these little pretzels filled with peanut butter. Oh. And it's all just a who's who of the industry. It's all big people. I got invited to these parties, lads. I got invited to 2 of these parties. You're fucking right. It was so much fun. Now, I won't be telling you too much about it, because you know what happens in NFA parties stays at NFA parties. But I can tell you how much of a prick I made of myself. I can tell you how much of a dick I was. In the first party, I won't say who it was, like whose party it was, and I won't say who the person is, but there was a famous flute player there who I met when I was 14. And the way I met this person, this guy, was at a urinal, because he was in Belfast doing a concert. I was watching the concert. I went to go urinate, go for a pish, and he was standing at the urinal, and I went up to the urinal beside him, and then I said, "Oh, I'm a big fan. It's great to meet you." I was 14. I didn't know any better. Now, at this party, I'd had a few of these American bourbons, and I walked into the bathroom, and there's your man again, and he's at the urinal. And I'm thinking, Gareth, this is a moment for comedy genius. So that I'll go up beside him, and then I'll say to him, "Well, fancy seeing you here again, huh?" And then I thought, but if he doesn't get that joke, I'm going to have to explain the joke, because he probably doesn't remember meeting a random 14-year-old 17 years ago. And then I have to explain. It's like, "Oh no, mate, we met when I was 14, and we met at a urinal before. That's the joke." And then he'd be thinking, "Nah, I need to get out of here." That sounds like I'm trying to entrap him. It's like, he'd be like, "Yeah, nice try, officer. Good one." And I saw the same man inside. I didn't do it. I saw the same man inside, and I thought, "Oh, I'm not talking to anybody. He's not talking to anyone. Let's go over and ask him to be on the podcast." And I took about 3 steps, and my legs were like fucking cooked spaghetti. They were all over the place. And I thought, "No, you know what, Gareth? Turn around. You turn around here. Abort mission another time, but you're going to make a dick of yourself." My mouth was like a washing machine. So, didn't go. I did go out partying afterwards, and we went clubbing with a couple of people. So much fun. I went to a nightclub, and like a proper American nightclub, jägerbombs, and fucking checking your passport before you go in, and you know, oh man, it was so cool. And they were playing my favorite artist as well. They were playing the third Paul brother. Because you know, you have the Paul brothers from YouTube. You have Logan Paul and Jake Paul. Whereas the third one that people don't know about, who's a musical artist, one of my favorites, it's Shonda. So you have Logan Paul, Jake Paul, and Shonda Paul. Shonda Paul. I wrote this entire episode just to make that joke. But the word playing Shonda Paul, I got it. I fucking lost my mind, man. Drinking shots, doing all this shit, getting Jaeger bombs. We were playing Milkshake, and then I found out the next day it was a retro party, which broke my fucking heart. I'm only 31. Jesus Christ, when is Shonda Paul retro? But anyway, and then afterwards, after the club, I left on my own. We all got split up. I end up lost in the shopping centre, which you can get into, but you can't get out of. So I'm walking around the shopping centre at 3 a.m, not having a fucking clue what's going on. Blinded. And then, thank God, 2 people who I'd met, well, one person I met earlier in the day, at the convention, and his wife came up and like, "Oh, Gareth, how's it going?" I was like, "Well, I'm fine. No problems at all." And they guided me out of the shopping centre, and all was grand. And then on the way home, I saw Denny's. Man, Denny's, fuck me. I walked into Denny's. I was like, I'm a bit hungry. I get something to eat. Denny's like a diner. But I was like, can I just sit down? And like, is it takeaway only? Like, no, you can sit down. I was like, I can sit down in that booth, order a meal like an actual adult, and just sit and eat it at 3 a.m. And I went, yeah, of course. And I was like, the whole menu. And I went, yeah, of course. So I sat down. My head was spinning like the fucking Exorcist, and I had steak and eggs, I think. Can't remember. I actually live documented the whole thing, and thank Christ the internet cut out, because those videos will never see the light of day. 10 out of 10. Denny's is fucking class. I was blinded. Half the room was blinded. I was so blocked, so drunk. It was so much fun. God bless Denny's. Now, just before we finish this podcast with the controversial thing that I didn't like about NFA, it's what I'm about to say is going to kill any chance of sponsorship in this podcast. So, quickly, I'm going to do my Patreon ad read because I need the money now more than ever. So, the Inline G podcast is free and always will be free. However, if you want to donate to the podcast, you can now do so through the Patreon. On the screen now is the address. And for the audio listeners, it is patreon.com/the Inline G Flute Podcast. It costs €5 per month, or whatever that equivalent is in your currency, like roughly $5, $6. And with that, you're genuinely keeping this podcast alive. I make 4 episodes a month of this podcast, come rain nor shine. If you listen to them all and you think, fuck, I would love to buy Gareth a pint at the end of the month to say thank you, you can do it digitally now. It costs the same price as a pint. I do everything around here on my own. This is an entirely independent podcast. Doing that also, you're giving me a regular income, and you're paying me for my work as an artist, which is so hard to get these days. So, to the patrons out there, thank you so much, because it means I don't have to take on shitty sponsors. I can get entirely funded by you, the listener. It is a dream scenario. You guys get shit out of it. I get shit out of it. I make content for you. The podcast gets bigger and bigger. I can get bigger guests on, bigger stages, and it's all dictated by you. I don't have to listen to some fucking shitty sponsor who wants to make money. So we can do it all together, just me and you. So if you want to subscribe there, go ahead. It means a huge amount. You can unsubscribe at any time. You can sign up for a month and go, fuck it, I can't afford it next month. Jump out. It doesn't like roll over or anything. Straight away, in and out. I do it all the time. So if you can afford it, please subscribe over there. It makes a huge difference. It's only £5 a month. That's like £1 a week. All right? It's like $2 a week you're paying me. Not even. If you can afford it, it really does help a lot. If you can't afford it, times are tough. Cost of living crisis, a lot going on at the minute. That's fine. You can keep listening for free. Everyone gets the same podcast. You don't get extra episodes for signing up over there. We all get the same podcast. If you can't afford it, you're paying for someone who can't afford to. It's a system based on kindness and soundness. Now, just before we go, this is what you've all been waiting for, so I may as well say it. Things the NFA can improve on. Not much, okay? The organisation was 100%, 10 out of 10, 5 stars, perfect. Cannot fault it. The programming was excellent. Everything about that convention was mind-blowingly good. Fucking hats off to the NFA. And trust me, no one wanted that to be a shit show more than I did, so I could do an entire episode ripping on Americans, but I can't. He's fucking nailed it. Fair play to you. Now, one small thing, I wouldn't have minded seeing a greatest hits concert. Most of the repertoire of the concerts was contemporary repertoire, new repertoire. I wouldn't have minded one concert where it was like the best players we have playing the hits, like a concerto night where you got like Lorna McGee and Jody Bianco and all, and they played Eber, Nielsen, Mozart, Reinecke. Just the big hits played by the best. That would have been nice. Like, you go to see the Spice Girls, you love the new stuff, the third album, I didn't, but you want to hear Wannabe anyway. You want the hits. You go to see Blink 182. You can't go through a Blink 182 concert like getting, where are you? You need that, okay? And then they can play their new stuff. So that's a small request. But the big thing that, especially, I'll say this from the viewpoint of maybe not even a European, as an Irish person, because some Europeans would actually agree with you. As an Irish person, there's one thing that shocked me quite a bit at NFA, and that was the presence of the US military. There was a military band playing in one of the concerts. I think it was the US Air Force or one of those ones. I know the US has a different attitude towards its military. I know for you guys, it's a political thing, not a political thing. It's like a cultural thing almost. You're very proud of your military, and that's great. And here, I'm making this very clear. I am not shitting on anyone that is a military musician. You make your money the way you want to make your money. Fair play to you. I never hate on musicians for hustling, making your money. No shade whatsoever to the normal people just playing in it. You guys are great. The problem is, this is a very clearly pro-Palestine podcast, if it's not news to anyone. I'm Irish. anyone new to the podcast, go and Google why Irish people support Palestine. You'll find out quite quickly. So I cannot, in good faith, go to a concert with the US military. I can't watch it. Okay, the US military currently at the minute are actively supporting the Israeli government, so I cannot go near it. Maybe any other year, if this Palestine-Israel conflict's the wrong word, genocide wasn't happening, I might consider it, but I'm still not comfortable with seeing the US military. For Americans, it's different. You just view it as the military. For foreigners, we view it as the US military. It's a very different thing, and it's intimidating, it's weird, and for a space that has so much inclusion and so liberal and fresh and welcoming to everybody, to suddenly have the fucking US Army in the corner really does put a dampener on it. Because honestly, fuck the army. At the minute, fuck the US Army. So that's why I left the concert on the first night a bit early. I cannot in good faith go to a US military concert. Now, I didn't tell anybody that's why I left. I didn't make a song and dance about it. I just wanted to quietly leave and go. This is the first time I've said publicly why I left. That's it. It's my opinion. I'm entitled to it as well. Believe it or not, in America, you don't believe in that sometimes, but I'm entitled to it. I will go to the next year's convention if the band are there again. I'm sure there will be. That's fine. I just won't be going to their concerts. I won't be supporting it. And if not enough people go to the concerts, they won't book them for the next year. And that's it. Simple as that. And in my opinion, whilst they're supporting the Israeli government, you shouldn't be going to them. There you are. So it took me by surprise. I didn't like it. So lads, before we go, just quickly, next year's convention is in Atlanta. And I met so many of you lovely people in San Antonio. It was a fucking blast. The people that didn't go, fuck you guys. You're coming next year, all right? Especially if you live on that side of the pond. You got no fucking excuse. I flew over from Germany for this shit. You're coming next year. Now, I looked up Atlanta and I'm trying to think of some reasons why you should come to NFA 2025 in Atlanta. So first of all, it's at the Hyatt Regency in Atlanta. I thought Atlanta was like the cheap Vegas, like the casino city. Turns out that's Atlantic City. Right? I didn't know that. So, oopsies. Atlanta is in Georgia, which I also know fuck all about. So I Googled what kind of food and shit you get from Georgia. Fuck all. Nothing. But if you come to NFA 2025, don't worry. First of all, if you can't afford the Hyatt, there's another hotel down the road called the Cortland Grand. That's where I'm staying. €61 a night. Happy fucking days. 8-minute walk away. No sweat at all. Now, just beside the convention venue, right beside it, there are two things. There's one, a Dairy Queen. I went to Dairy Queen once. Got one of those blizzard things that you hold upside down. Doesn't fucking move. Man, loaded with peanut butter and chocolate. I shat myself for about 4 days afterwards, but it was worth it. It was so good. So that's next door. There's a Chick-fil-A next door. Man, no Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is amazing. Chick-fil-A is so good. I brought back a little packet of sauce. Put it in my fucking pocket. Didn't realize. Threw my clothes into the washing machine 2 days ago. Found the little packet of sauce. No more sauce in it. And now all my white clothes are lightly stained yellow of Chick-fil-A sauce. That's how much I appreciate. This is what I went through just for Chick-fil-A to get one packet of sauce back. Within 10 minutes walk, you also have a couple of other places. You have a Hooters. I haven't been to Hooters yet because I was in America with my girlfriend, and you can't really turn around to your girlfriend and say, do you want to go to the big titty bar? So next year, I would love to go to Hooters, okay, to check out the odds. Also nearby, you have Jersey Mike's, fucking class. They have that oil and vinegar thing they put on their sandwiches. Arby's is nearby. Arby's is... Don't sleep on Arby's. Arby's is the best of the American fast foods. Honestly, the best one. Arby's is lit. You also have... There's no Denny's. There's no Denny's, lads, near it. But there is a Waffle House, which I've heard is like ghetto Denny's. And next door, you have a restaurant called Tin Lizzie's, which is obviously meant to be Thin Lizzy, but ironically, that's how Dublin people pronounce Thin Lizzy, and it's where Thin Lizzy are from. Well, it's where Phil Lynnett's from. Now, this Mexican restaurant has a happy hour. On the happy hour, you get $25 pitchers of margarita, $3 tacos, and $3 pints. A $3 pint of Bud Light. And the happy hour is 4 to 6 p.m., which is perfect because you can leave the Exhibitor Hall, go get a lock of pints, and then come back for the concert a little bit drunk, and then just sleep through it if you don't like it. Perfect. And there's 2 Irish pubs within 10 minutes walk. There's Meehan's and Gibney's. Both of them do Guinness. One of them also does Smithwick's, and it's $8 a pint. Happy fucking days. What more do you want? And if all else fails, you can buy one of these, fill it up with Bud Light Lime, and go to the evening concert, sucking away on it like no one's business, and no one has a fucking clue. Not that I would ever do such a thing. So, lads, I'll end with this. America, I owe you an apology. Your food's class, your people are amazing, and your flute association is the best on the planet. Fair play to you. Now, you might elect Donald Trump again, so don't get too fucking big-headed here. But for now, you're doing well. credit where credit's due. NFA was one of the funnest things I have ever done. I loved it, and I'm already excited for next year's one. So I'll be there. You fucking better be there too. Have a good day, guys. Have a lovely weekend. Kiss a dog. Mwah.